morning, good afternoon, guys. We are back for another episode of Subplot, and the first episode where we're using this cool stuff.
Where we're using the new set.
We didn't even talk about it when we did the Justice League.
We did at the very end.
I guess we
did
at
the very
yes.
end. Yeah.
So, I guess as you know, we probably put it in the description. Audio was kind of messed up with that, and we're hoping that it works better with this one.
Yes. Yeah. Should work.
We will get there.
Yeah, we're still working out the bugs. We're revamping. We're revamping everything. So
yep.
So that all comes with hiccups, but
so we, as we do on Subplot, we're here to talk about Godzilla. Specifically in this episode, we are talking about Godzilla versus DESTROYAH.
DESTROYAH. Yeah. Yes. If you are still with us on this, congratulations, because you've made one hell of a journey.
Yeah.
And we commend you. We salute you if you've stuck around this.
I feel like we're close to the end, but we're probably really not.
We are. We're once we move into the Millennium series, there's only like 10 left. So
okay.
So we're
still a number of episodes.
I'd say there's like a dozen movies left after this episode. So we've got what
the TV show
like
isn't going off.
Episodes.
That TV show won't leave Netflix, will it?
No, it's a Netflix original, so it'll stick around.
Okay.
I
was thinking about that the other day.
That's one tiny bit of news that we don't even need to talk about. There was a second trailer for the show.
Oh, okay.
So it was neat. You got a better look at Godzilla, a better look at some of the other monsters. But other than
Singular point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. The only other little bit of news, and a lot of fans are cranky about this, Mechagodzilla is no longer a spoiler in Godzilla vs. Kong.
I mean, after this first trailer, how can you even say that it was a spoiler?
Well, and that's the other thing. Yeah, they showed
if you slow it down, it's
Godzilla
clearly
in the first
Mecha.
3 seconds.
Yeah.
You see his whole head.
Yeah.
But Adam Wingard, the director, shared to his Instagram a picture of him holding the giant 11-inch Mechagodzilla figure from Playmates. So people were like, "Oh, guess it's not a spoiler anymore if the director showed it." And I'm like, "Come on, guys, you knew it was coming."
Well, yeah. So with the first trailer, if you slowed it down, granted, a lot of people don't do that. Yeah. I get that. That's the fandom being a fandom. But yeah, I mean, toys are on shelves, not our shelves.
Mostly before movies too.
Yeah,
like look at Wonder Woman 84. They had all that merchandise out months before the movie actually even hit.
I think it was upwards of a year.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
I think it was last summer we got them.
I know the Godzilla vs. Kong stuff has almost been on the shelves for a year. The original, stuff.
The original line. Yeah.
So, yeah.
We can't get the damn new stuff.
No, not yet. I'm telling you, it has to be this week because the movie comes out next week.
You would think.
So it almost has, and I'm thinking back to King of the Monsters, and that stuff was on the shelves 2-3 weeks out.
Yeah.
So it almost has to be this week that stuff hits shelves. Which I just want a Mechagodzilla. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I don't even care about.
I don't even have a Godzilla or a King Kong from that. I just want Mechagodzilla.
No, yeah.
I'll have to buy the other two too.
I just want Mecha. I don't even care about Warbat. I was
gonna say I don't care about.
I have the Skullcrawler, Kong, Heat Ray Godzilla, and the other Godzilla that I don't remember what it was called, but I have both versions of that. Beam one. Yeah, it was something. He had one had a radio tower and the other had the Heat Ray, and I have both of those. Kong, and that's and the Skullcrawler. That's it, because that was the first line, and that's all they came out with. So I just got those. But anyway, yes, we're here to talk about the death of the Toho era, or what seemed to be, and the birth of the American Godzilla era.
Yeah.
We can jump right into 1995's Godzilla vs. DESTROYAH.
Wow, I didn't even know the year. So there was a good couple years between.
Yeah, there were
the death and the rebirth.
3 years. 3 years. And what's funny is TriStar and Sony ended up just basically keeping the copyrights to the movies and distributing these ones for TriStar and Sony.
Okay.
So they just kind of basically kept the rights in a way to distribute, but lost their rights to actually continuing the legacy of the character. Rightfully so, according to some people.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about Godzilla versus Destroyah first. In this high-tech, high-powered thriller, a new Godzilla emerges from his own ashes, radioactive and ready to take on Tokyo. But soon he must battle his deadliest opponent yet, DESTROYAH! And when Godzilla Jr. joins the battle, the action gets even hotter. Only the Super X3 can put the deep freeze on this three-way monster melee. It's not even like a three-way monster melee. It's more of a two-way, and Jr. ends up just getting involved and hurting himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Jr., don't get me wrong, but so Mike, I want to ask you, how did you feel about Godzilla versus Destroyah?
So I like this one. It really wasn't until the kind of the tail end that I was like, okay. Now,
the tail end is really where it seems to pull at people.
Yeah.
Like the beginning and middle of this movie is very, very much, the cookie cutter. Godzilla shows up, causes destruction. They have to figure out a way to destroy him. But of course, in this movie, we find out that Godzilla is on course to have a meltdown, similar to any type of radioactive, like a nuclear reactor, that eventually, if not contained, would melt down. But Godzilla being as enormous as he is and putting off so much radiation, they find out that his meltdown could end the world as we know it. So the stakes are high. The stakes are probably as high as they possibly could be in one of these movies.
Yeah, pretty much.
And on top of that, they discover that a microorganism spawned from the original oxygen destroyer has surfaced, creating these crustacean-like creatures that are attacking Tokyo from the bay. They can form into a larger creature and ultimately evolve into the final form of Destroyah, which is a winged devil-like creature. Very cool in design.
Yeah.
Has a lot of really neat powers to him. So yeah, the world is basically just in complete and utter turmoil because not only the threat of Godzilla causing a nuclear meltdown that would end the world, but you also have something else that's even worse. Well, I should say even worse, but bigger and more of a threat. And then you have Junior thrown into the mix, where he just kind of is almost in the way.
Yeah.
But it is necessary to further the plot, especially towards the end.
Right.
I've always liked this movie. I watched this movie when I was like 5 or 6. And I watched it on the same day that I watched the 1933 King Kong. So 5 or 6, I was a fan of both these monsters for like 2 years probably. Huge fan. And I literally watched both the characters die on the same day.
That's
so I was
crazy.
kind of like, death didn't bother me at that point. I was like, I watched 2 of my favorite characters die, so it's okay. So yes, spoiler warning, Godzilla. This is the movie that Godzilla dies.
Yeah.
And before that, Junior dies because Destroyah.
Yes. I think I was more upset about that.
Yeah. Because and I think it's more emotional because we followed Junior from when he was a baby.
Yeah.
Like over the course of 3 movies, we've fallen in love with Junior. I mean, he's just an adorable little Godzilla that.
I mean, my favorite form is like pure baby Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
You know, like when he's human size.
Yeah.
He's just adorable.
And he fights Destroyah, the flying form, like kicks its ass, and starts to make his way to meet up with the bigger Godzilla in Tokyo, and gets picked up by Destroyah and flown around, sort of taunting Godzilla, and he drops him from thousands of feet in the air, and Junior, being so little, can't absorb that impact, and he ends up dying because of that. So Godzilla tries to revive him, doesn't work, and he ends up going on the warpath for Destroya at this point.
Yeah.
And he ultimately kills Destroya. Well, Godzilla doesn't even kill Destroya. Godzilla deals the final blow because the military ends up actually taking out Destroya. Because they end up using the freeze weapons to destroy his wings so he can't fly away. And then he drops and Godzilla deals the final blow to blow him up. And then at that point, Godzilla starts to have his meltdown. And they want to keep the damage to a minimum, so they use the freeze cannons to actually try to freeze, which works midway through the movie. They end up they do freeze him, but he melts out. So they know they can't freeze him, so they just try to minimize the damage, and Godzilla ends up melting down, but he doesn't melt through the surface like they thought he was going to. And there's just immense amounts of radiation now polluting Tokyo. And at the end of the movie, we find out that all of that radiation was able to revive Junior, and he becomes the new reborn version of Godzilla.
Passing of the torch.
Yes.
Of such.
Passing of the torch. And Toho had no intentions of doing any more movies with it. They
that end thing kind of confused me a little bit. Like, because, we thought he was dead. And it doesn't come out and say...
Yeah.
But I was like, I didn't know what went on.
It's one of those things where it's kind of like Judgment Day in the Terminator series. Like, it's gonna happen no matter what. So I think that's kind of what the message they were sending is, like, Godzilla's our creation, and no matter what we do, he's never leaving.
Yeah.
Like, so they kind of were just like, if one Godzilla dies, there'll always be another one. Like. It's that message of nuclear annihilation and the threat of nuclear destruction. It's just it's ever present. It'll never go away until all nuclear weapons are rid of this planet. That threat will never disappear. And I think that's kind of the message that they had with the rebirth of Godzilla. Is they're like, it doesn't matter as long as nuclear weapons are here, he will be here. So I personally, like, I don't know if that was really their intention. That's just the way that I would interpret it.
Yeah.
And I like that thought of that being the case. So, yeah, I mean, this movie is, it's to the point. They're, like, I feel like I'm kind of like, there isn't much to talk about with it.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
It's a fitting conclusion. Yeah. It's just, bam, we're done.
There's not, without going, like, scene by scene almost, like, there's not a lot to say.
No.
That hasn't already...
We get a nice conclusion with Miki Sagusa, who just is torn apart in this movie because of Junior and Junior dying and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the end of this movie is very emotional, and I think that's one of the reasons that I really like it as part of the Heisei series, is because and especially at the end. I mean, it's hard to watch the end of that movie, especially when you love the character so much, and especially with us revisiting it, and you see the character and you see the development of that character. And like I've said before, he's not a guy in a suit. He's an actual character. He has emotions and motives, and you start to recognize him as a character, not as a guy in a goofy rubber suit.
Yeah, it's been several. Well, it's really been since the first couple movies that I'm like, yeah, it's a guy in a suit.
Yeah,
like I don't even think about it anymore.
No, you start to recognize him as a character. So when that character dies. You're like, wow, like that, it impacts you. And it impacts you more than you'd think. Like, you're just watching a 1995 CGI version of it just sort of disintegrate, but you're like, he's dead.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, it's still to this day, you watch it and you're like, wow.
And that was kind of the opposite of what we saw in the Snyder Cut. We saw people get rebuilt from the Flash, but... we see his skeleton, like he like you said, he melts.
And then, like, you see, like, his life force almost, like, leave his body. Like, and I'm guessing that's what it was, because that's what it kind of felt like to me. That was his, like, soul or whatever leaving his body. Nice visuals.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's, like, groundbreaking visuals, but it was really good for
Godzilla.
What they were going for, yeah.
Like,
we got an awesome design of Godzilla with burning Godzilla. I mean, it's just awesome looking. How can you not like that? And then we get burning Godzilla again in King of the Monsters. Just because of the popularity behind the design.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, do you have anything else you want to add to Destroy?
It's not a bad thing, but no, I really don't.
So, basically, yeah, at the end of this, Toho had zero intention of making any more Godzilla movies. This was the end.
Which is really weird.
This was the very end, and somebody convinced them to put the rights up for bid. And Sony and TriStar ended up being the winning bidders for that. So they were given the license for 10 years? 10 or 15 years that they were allowed, or maybe it wasn't even that. Maybe it was only like 5 years. I don't know. I'd have to research that a little bit more. But they were given the license to the character and everything to make their own movie. Because they wanted to see what the Americans could do with their creation. And people were excited about what an American Godzilla would be like. Because this is not the first time that we were going to get an American Godzilla movie. One was supposed to happen in the 1980s. One was supposed to happen in 1994 that got scrapped. And this is ultimately what we ended up with. So...
Interesting.
So, yeah, now we're on to Roland Emmerich's Godzilla from 1998. Yeah. I don't hate this movie.
I don't either.
I don't hate this movie. Now, I know neither of us rewatched it. We began to rewatch it and then decided we didn't need to because we covered this in the regular podcast before.
I mean, it has been a while. I forget when that was, but it was recently enough that I'm like, we can, talk our way through it. Yeah. Because it's been recent enough.
Yeah.
Which that was my first time watching it, so I probably could have, it might have been a good thing for me to watch it, but I don't know. You're kind of the get us through the movie person anyway. But
so
not to reiterate everything from our episode covering this movie, but I had a crazy 20-year build-up to watch this movie because I was super excited when all the trailers and stuff were coming out when I was a kid, and I just never saw it. I don't know why.
I never saw it in theaters. Now, because I was like 4 when this movie came out, and I think when it was rated PG-13, my mom and dad were like, "We're not gonna take you to see the PG-13 movie." So it was like a couple years after that I was able to watch it on VHS, and I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was bad. I still don't think. Is it a bad movie? Sure. Is it a fun movie? Yes. Is it Godzilla? Debatable, because by
name.
that and that's another nickname that they have for this version is Gino, Gino, Godzilla in name only.
Oh, okay.
So, personally, in my opinion, I don't think it's Gino.
Yeah.
I think it's a take on the character.
Yeah.
I honestly being an artist, I don't ever knock something and go, "That's stupid," unless it truly is stupid.
Yeah.
Unless it actually has no bearing on it. But when I watched this movie, I was like, he's big, he's got dorsal spikes, he's got the roar. He technically breathes fire by exhaling a flammable gas that when it ignites becomes like fire breath. I'm like, it's a take on the character.
Yeah.
He's created via nuclear testing. He's a product of it.
It's more modern.
Yeah.
Modern take on it.
I can't knock it. I accept it as part of Godzilla's history and his lineage.
Yeah.
It's there. It is a Godzilla. It's not the Godzilla, but it is a Godzilla.
Yeah.
Do I think that the legendary MonsterVerse version is Godzilla? Yes, it 100% is. It's like straight out of Toho.
Yeah.
But this still is Godzilla. It's just a different version.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I know there was obviously Godzilla's in the 90s, but it makes so much sense that he would be the more reptilian looking creature.
Well, and that's the other thing that people complained about. They're like, it's just ripping off Jurassic Park. It's like, yeah, but that's kind of what, like, they were like, hey, if we're going to modernize Godzilla, then maybe he should be more dinosaur-like and have some different characteristics than being the giant hulking monster that he is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there were a lot of cool scenes in this movie where he's running in between buildings, dodging missiles and everything, evading helicopters. That's something different that we've never seen in a movie like that. So no, I could never really denounce this or like toss it out as I'm not saying it's canon because it's not canon because there's no universe built into it.
But there is no canon.
no, I accept it as part of Godzilla's history.
Yeah.
I can't just toss that aside.
Yeah, I agree with you.
This movie's fun. It's like the back says. It's big. It's loud. It's fun. It is. It's all those things.
Yeah.
I love the look of this movie. I genuinely love the color palette behind it. I don't like the fact that it's raining the entire movie, but it kind of sets the tone. So I do like that.
I like that.
Okay, so here's the blurb that they have, and it's very small. So it's Godzilla is back, bigger and much better than ever.
That's not necessarily true.
Its size defies comprehension. An expertly designed theme park ride of a movie that packs non-stop thrills, one jaw-dropping scene after another. The film never loses either momentum or its human scale. That's not even a blurb. I started reading that and realized it's just a review from somebody from the Los Angeles Times. So the movie basically it's Godzilla created from French nuclear testing in the French Polynesian Islands. And of course, Godzilla awakens and... Well, he hibernated for a while, but he grew to full size, attacks a bunch of ships. They try to figure out what's going on. He eventually ends up in New York. A lot of military operations happen, and then Ferris Bueller shows up and figures out that there's a nest, and
it's just a theory at that time.
Yeah, it's just a theory, but you find out that it's true.
Yeah.
And they end up luring Godzilla out into the open, and they kill him on the Brooklyn Bridge. And that's another thing that pissed a lot of people off, is that they killed Godzilla.
As much as I like this movie, I don't get that either. Other than the fact that, there was eggs at the end.
Yeah. But, the thing about this is, they made it modern and they made it realistic. Which the MonsterVerse does as well. What Toho's biggest complaint was about this movie is they took the god out of Godzilla. They made him vulnerable. Too vulnerable. They made him an animal, but an animal that is not like look at Shin Godzilla. You look at Shin Godzilla and you're like, you're not killing that thing.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you do, you're not killing it.
Yeah.
Same thing with the legendary Godzilla. They put the god back in Godzilla.
So this might be a little tangent, but from a size fact, how tall is 98 Godzilla compared to your typical Toho Godzilla?
Depends on which iteration you're talking about.
Yeah, I know they all do.
Because he is about the size of the original 1954 Godzilla if he stands up straight.
Right.
He's about the same size. But as for Burning Godzilla, he's dwarfed by the 90s Godzilla.
Okay.
The 90s Godzilla was 328 feet tall or something like that.
Yeah, I was just trying to I don't know why I want to know that, but I want to know that.
Yeah. No. I mean, like, but they make him look big in the movie.
Yeah.
Which he is. I mean, he's not small by any means.
That's what I was trying to picture, like burning Godzilla in, like, New York.
Oh my God, yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, basically, the legendary version of Godzilla might still be the biggest to date. Because he's, like, nearly 400 feet tall. So he would be bigger than even burning Godzilla.
Okay.
So he's a big boy.
Yeah, I know it changes a lot.
Which is funny because Legendary and Toho kind of had a back and forth where Legendary Godzilla was 355 feet, then Toho made Shin Godzilla 382 feet, and then Legendary came back in King of the Monsters, and they're like, well, now he's 395 feet. And then they're like, well, your move. And then they made Godzilla Earth in the anime, who's like 1,000-some feet tall. So it was basically like, they were like, you know what? We're just making the biggest one ever. So basically in the next one, he'll just be Galactus size.
Yeah.
And he'll just eat planets. That's what he'll do.
That's consume what Space Godzilla should have been.
He'll consume radioactive worlds. That's not a bad idea to rewrite that.
Yeah.
Actually, I like that idea a lot. I might have to draw that later.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
But yeah, I mean, we've already talked about this one.
Yeah.
So basically what I want to do is, instead of continuing to talk about this, I want to talk about the repercussions / aftermath of this movie.
Okay.
Toho did not like it.
Yeah.
At all. In fact, they didn't like it so much that they decided they were going to use this version of the character, which it's argued that it's not the same version, but they made a version of this character in the movie Godzilla Final Wars named Zilla, because they took the god out of Godzilla.
Yeah.
So they made this version fight the Japanese version, and it wasn't even a fight. He made one leap towards Godzilla. Godzilla hit him with his tail, and he just like smashes into a building, and then he just ignites him and destroys him. And then the line after that the Exilian commander says, I knew that tuna head wasn't up to much. So like they were taking digs hard at it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the very next year, in 1999, they made Godzilla 2000, or Godzilla Millennium. So they were like, no. They're like, rush one into production right now.
So do you think that they hated this so much, they're like, we got to make more?
I honest to God, I think that was part of it. Like, they watched it, and they were like, and they just got so mad, they just immediately started writing ideas, and they're like, get everyone into the studio. We got to make another suit and everything.
We're gonna kill that bastard in the movie.
I think like that's probably exactly what happened. The studio executives probably watched the movie and went, "What the hell is this?" And then they were like, "Nope." They're like, "We're taking it back. We're making our own." Which again, good that this movie exists, because we wouldn't have the Godzilla like. I know I've said to you, Godzilla's back relevantly in pop culture.
Right.
We have toys on the shelves that have been there for what? Almost 10 years now?
Yeah.
From the Bandai, like these Bandai creation lines that have been on the shelves for a long time. You're seeing more and more merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, stuff like that. FYE has a whole section that's just Godzilla stuff. And like growing up, I never saw that stuff.
Right.
When I was younger, they had the Trendmasters Godzillas from the 90s, like Mechagodzilla, Space Godzilla, King Ghidorah, all those. And then those quickly went off the shelves because I was born at the wrong time and missed that boat.
Yeah.
I still collected quite a few, but then we got the 98 Godzilla toys and all that. And then there was a period of like 15 years where there was nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. Like Godzilla was an oddity. If you mentioned it, somebody was like, "What?" Yeah. Like they're like, "You mean the big monster, the giant lizard monster?" And you're like, "Yeah, that one." And they're like, "Yeah, there's nothing here."
Yeah, it's so weird how
only in Japan could you get those.
Yeah.
Because in Japan, he's culturally relevant. But in America, nothing like that happened. It's only been within the last 10 years that we had a resurgence of sorts because of the 2014 Godzilla.
Yep.
And then after that, when Shin Godzilla came out, and then you had you all of a sudden had an interest because it gained popularity again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, without this movie, we wouldn't have the stuff that we have now.
Because who knows how long of a...
Because
God knows that they would have made more anyway.
Yeah. But holy crap, it could have been like 2010 before they made.
I mean, we could have went 95 to 2014, or
20 years before they made
20 years.
Yeah. So I mean, we kind of have this movie to thank for that
in a
weird, twisted way. But the animated series that comes out after this is actually really good.
Yeah, it's held up pretty high.
And they make him more Godzilla in that one. Like he's not stopped by missiles or tanks or anything like that, and he breathes green radioactive fire. So they righted their wrong.
So they knew what they kind of messed up on.
Yeah, and the animated series, because they weren't going to make a sequel, because I think while it made money, they weren't going to make a sequel because they realized that critics were like, nah, we don't like it. But in the animated series, it follows the Godzilla that hatches out of the egg at the very end of the movie.
Okay.
And they even do a Mechagodzilla thing where they take the body of the original Godzilla and they add cybernetic parts to it and revive it, and then Godzilla has to fight his father.
I've seen like an episode or two, but
it's really good.
I've never really sat down and watched it.
It's a really fun show to watch. I enjoy it quite a bit. I have the whole series, and I think I started it like maybe 8 years ago and just haven't finished it yet. But I watched the end, like the Monster War, where it's all the monsters that are like... It's basically Destroy All Monsters.
Okay.
So the animated series actually does a really good job at taking this version of Godzilla and making him feel like Godzilla.
Right.
So, like, there are good things and bad things. You take the good with the bad. That's about all you can do.
I mean, that's basically the legacy of Godzilla.
Yeah. You take the good with the bad, and we're
looking at you, Rage Again.
Yes, and Godzilla's Revenge. Yeah. We can't forget that one. But yeah, overall, what were your thoughts on '98?
I mean, granted, I can't.
Like I said, we've already talked about this movie, so it's hard.
Granted, I can't say that it's better. I mean, I could say it's better than like Rage Again or
because it is.
Yeah,
it's more interesting.
But like Godzilla at his best in the Toho universe, like I mean, you can't hold a candle. But for what it was, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
and I was kind of upset at myself that I waited so long to watch it because I owned that disc. Oh my god, probably for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And I bought it one time at FYE because I'd buy used DVDs all the time.
Oh yeah, I bought them.
And I was just like, oh, I'll buy that. It was probably like $5 or some crap, and I just never watched it.
Yeah.
It sat in there forever, and I mean, I ended up watching it on Netflix, but still, like
in better quality on Netflix.
Because I was told by. Well, specifically looking at you, Tom, if you listen, to not watch it. Because, well, not calling him out now for saying that this one absolutely sucks. But, again, looking at you, Tom.
It does not suck.
Anyway, I like it for what it is.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have a problem sitting down and watching it again.
No, it's this is one where if it's on Netflix, during its cycle on Netflix, I will probably watch it 3 or 4 times before it's gone. Just because it's fun.
Yeah.
Nothing more. It's fun. I enjoy it. That's all that matters.
I like the human characters in it even. Like, I like, what's his name?
Nick.
Yeah.
Nick Tatopoulos.
I was trying to think of the actor's name.
Yeah, where they keep screwing up his last name, so they just call him the Worm Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I forgot about that, but Yeah, the worm guy, because I can't say his name
We,
either.
like I said, we didn't spend a lot of time talking in depth about this because we've already...
Yeah.
If you want to know what our true thoughts are, go back and watch the episode where we actually covered this movie.
Yeah, that's our way to make you watch that one.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, just go right back to that one and watch that. That was in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, it was right out. Yeah, because that was the first one.
That was the thumbnail where we put the big giant mask on.
Yeah, that was the first one with the mask. Yeah. We used it for a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, that was fun.
So, yeah, that was right after it started, I think. Might have been the episode after, I think Sonic was the last one where...
Before the pandemic, yeah, because we all went to the theater to watch that
one. Actually, we watched it, and I think by the time we recorded... We were shut down.
Everybody was shut down. Yeah. Yep.
Not to get into a retrospective on the
pandemic.
Yeah.
We can do that at a later time.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's talk about ratings.
Yeah. I don't remember what we gave Godzilla 98 in the episode, so
I don't either. But
I mean, I think here's what I think about scores. To go on a side tangent on scores, like they're gonna change with each viewing, because you're essentially a different person at a later time. So so it doesn't matter what we rated it back then.
That's true. So. It doesn't. It really doesn't. So I'll start with Godzilla versus Destroya.
All right.
For all of its faults, it becomes a very emotionally impactful Godzilla movie. The story's pretty crisp, concise. It's kind of a fun thriller type of thing because you have the horror aspect with the crustacean-like creatures attacking where there's one fight at like the aquarium and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that one scene where the girl's in the car
and it does the little alien little mouth. Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
So I would say for all of its faults and everything, I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. I give it a 7 because of the third act. The third act is probably the best.
Yeah.
Everything else I could take or leave. It's entertaining, but I could take it or leave it. It's the end towards Godzilla's death. Is where it really, really hits me.
Yeah, that's the meat of the movie.
Yep.
I'm gonna go just under you. I'm gonna go 6, just because I couldn't keep attention.
Yeah.
With the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, like I said, the beginning of the movie is tougher to get into. It's tougher to get into than the other movies in the '90s era because there's a lot really happening in the '90s movies, but. And I figured out what it is. It's the fact that Destroya doesn't really, like, you get versions of Destroya, but it takes a while before you start to actually see it. Like, we had Godzilla versus Mothra. The meteor hits and awakens Godzilla. 15 minutes later, here comes Batra. Right. So it's like, the monster, another threat shows up, like, real quick in those. In this, it's kind of like there's build-up.
Yeah, it's just a lot of build-up.
And as compared to the story and flow of the others in this series, you're like, well, shit, should have been another giant monster showing up, and there should have been a fight already in the first 25 minutes, you know? So I can understand where some people are like, okay, this is dragging a little bit.
Yeah, I just... I'm glad how you put that, because I thought it was me just that day.
No.
But, yeah. So you endure that... Has a great third act.
Oh yeah. And then for Godzilla 98. See, this is tough because I'm trying to rate it as part of the Godzilla series instead of rating it as its own thing now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to give it a 6. A 6 out of 10.
Okay.
It does appear long at some points. I feel like I probably gave it a higher rating before.
Yeah, I think we did.
But I'm just like rating it in the vein of Godzilla movies. Rating it underneath just because of the substance and everything. And 6 isn't bad. No. It's, yeah. I mean
hell, even 5 means it's an okay movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like I said, that doesn't detract anything for me because, like I said, I'll watch this movie anytime it's on or anything. That's just the way that I would rank it as compared to the rest of them. It's like if I'm ranking Infinity War, Endgame, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and like Winter Soldier. It's like, as much as I love Winter Soldier, I'm probably gonna put something else ahead of it. Yeah, you know, it's just like I can love that movie, but I'm gonna rank something higher up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's my rating on 98.
I really want to just compare, like, I don't want to get heat, but I'm going to give it the same rating I gave Destroy. I'm going to give it a 6.
A 6.
Maybe I'm doing it a little bit, not looking at it from the same perspective maybe as you are, but I think it holds up against that. Yeah.
No, it's a fine movie. Yeah. It's a fine movie. There's nothing really... I mean, there is a lot wrong with it. If we're looking at it strictly from a film perspective, there's a lot wrong with it.
I mean, that's not how I even rate movies.
But that's what Subplot's about, is for us to talk about it as a series, not just the film itself. And we point out its flaws. It's not like we're not talking about the movie's flaws or anything. Oh, yeah. We're definitely talking about that. We're just going through a beloved series that, even for all of its faults, we still love these movies. So that's kind of where the rating system changes.
Pretty much every Godzilla movie has faults.
Yes. But it also has redeeming qualities.
Oh, yeah.
Except for Godzilla's Revenge. And that movie has no redeeming qualities.
See, that one doesn't even stick out to me as much as Rage Again. That movie...
The thing that bothers me about about Godzilla's Revenge is that it's not even canon. It takes place inside Ichiro's dream.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's not even real.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not even a Godzilla movie.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I couldn't even remember which one it was.
And it's all stock footage too.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Alright. I'll start ripping that one then.
That's right, yeah. We're going to just start destroying that. We're just going to get copies of it and just light them on fire, essentially.
We're going to destroy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Destroyah!
So, next episode is Godzilla 2000, aka Godzilla Millennium, and Godzilla vs. Megaguirus.
Okay.
Which is another one of my favorites. So, yeah.
So, one image I always see of Godzilla is the cover of 2000.
Yes.
I don't know
why.
One
of my favorite
covers. It's just everywhere.
Yeah. Like, it's a really cool cover, too.
Like, you type in Godzilla, it's going to be one of the first ones.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really cool cover. Yeah. I really enjoy that one. So, yes, we'll be talking about the rebirth of the Japanese Godzilla series.
Yes.
On the next episode of Subplot. So, like and subscribe. Tell us what you think of the new setup. We really dig it, but we want to hear from you guys. So we will catch you on the next episode.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.